September 22nd, 2015. This is John Presko coming to you from Springfield, Oregon. This morning I'm going to talk about defending Ed Fadeley, who passed away last month. And he had a memorial this last Saturday on 20th or maybe the 19th. I wasn't invited for some reason. I'm left to guess at. I was invited to join Landmarks on several occasions. And Mark Gall and Joy Gall did not invite me to their son Johnny Gall's memorial. I called it Darian, Joy's best friend, and she told me she wasn't invited. And she wasn't given an explanation either. So I was considered a member of the Gall family. I went every every month to a dinner at the Fox Hollow where Mark's mother lived. I ate with her. She enjoyed my company. I took her to synagogue, and I took Johnny Gall to many, many of his doctor's appointments when he was coming down with that rare disease which killed him. So Darian had me go to the DAC club because there was a speaker there for Landmark, and I did, and I enjoyed the talk, and I participated, and I ran into my surrogate family, which I'm not going to name because I'm afraid there's going to be some kind of retaliation. We're dealing with people who think they have power in Emerald Valley, and they can yield it and influence people and hurt people and manipulate people and make them do their will. And they think they can shut these people up if they have something contrary to say about them. Of course, they've got attorneys, so I'm not putting this on my blog because they'll try to get my blog destroyed and taken down, because that's the kind of people these people are. They don't like to think they are, but they are. And no one dare say so but me. And that I say it in defense of Ed Fadeley, that I put this forward in my defense of Ed Fadeley, well, it needs to be said. Ed Fadeley needs to be defended. His name needs to be cleared. Because like myself, he was accused of sexual impropriety towards a woman. A woman pretty much destroyed and ended his career. She worked with Ed. I haven't read her case that she brought against him, but she was saying that he was coming on to her in a sexually inappropriate manner. And I'm sure nobody at the memorial, none of Ed's friends, including Mark Gall, had the gall to defend Ed, or the courage. There's some real cowards here in Lane County. And the Ed I knew wasn't a coward. When me and Mark Gall came out of the Diva, we'd watched a movie there. We come out at night, and across the street are about 10 homeless people, and one of them's a young man is throwing himself against this huge plate glass window as hard as he can. We're watching it bow in to the point where it's going to break, and if it breaks, it's going to guillotine this young man who's acting insane. And sitting on the ground, about 9 of his peers, friends, other homeless waifs that hang out on Broadway and disrupt the downtown, defecate and urinate all over downtown, panhandle, hit people up for money, and get in their face when they refuse to give them money. They intimidate them. So Ed was a judge here in his town. He was a state legislator and a man that had power in the Democratic Party. And he's not going to stand for that. He's not going to let that young man hurt himself, primarily. So he gets on a cell phone to call the cops. And he's not getting the response he wants, so he heads across the street, hands the cell phone to Mark Gall, and heads across the street. And, I expected Mark Gall to follow because they're the tight buddies. I mean, me and Ed are basically, we're elaborate acquaintances. We've socialized on several occasions, and but I wouldn't call us friends. We've never really created that bond, not like Mark Gall and Joy Gall had with Darian and Ed Fadeley. So I grew up in Oakland, and when the leader of your pack heads across the street to confront some crazy-ass people that are not obeying the law, well, you don't look at the odds. You don't say, well, that's too many people over there. I'm going to let Ed go over there by himself. I'm going to stay here with Mark Gall where it's safe. I didn't have a cell phone. I'd get on the cops. Yeah, that'd be a perfect excuse. So there goes Ed. Okay, that guy's got some balls. And I peel off after him. Here we come. It's Colonel Sanders and Joaquin Miller, these guys with a lot to say. We've got a good girth on us, We're not small men. Here we go. Here we come. There goes the sheriff, and I peel off after him, It's the OK Corral, see. There's the bad boys, the bad boy throwing up himself up against this glass window. Why these young women and his friends are just like, my father persecuted me and he sexed me, that's why I'm homeless, and my mommy made me blah, blah, blah. See, they're all victims, see, which is a shame, and I'm sympathetic towards it, but it's the politics of the homeless. They've been victimized by their parents and family, and therefore they have a right to go and destroy public property and hurt themselves and, create a horrific scene of horror, as this glass shatters. Well, Ed was going to have no part of it. He came up to the kids and said, knock it off. Then he turned to the kids and says, you take care of this guy. What are you doing just sitting there while your friend's trying to hurt himself here? They hurt this property. Why don't you stop him? See? And then he gets it, like I got it, Well, he has a right to do that if he wants to, We've been oppressed by our parents and society and the police and if he wants to destroy the plate glass window and cut himself off, that's his right. And they said, no, it's not. It's not his right to do that. He has no right. There's nothing, there's no law that says, he's got a right to do that. He says, that's it. The police are on their way, get out of here. And then they look at us, it's old school. Can we take these guys? Can we punch it out with these guys? Well, come on, let's do it. You think you can? How many are you? And Ed felt that, see, for me, that backup. There's Mark over there, playing it safe, calling the police up, trying to, you know, waste. So that's what I really liked it. I thought he was a stand-up kind of guy. And I had read about his sexual harassment, alleged sexual harassment. And I said, that doesn't fit. And it did fit when me and Virginia drove out to the coast. Mark and we were staying at this house on the beach. And, you know, I walk in with Virginia, and there's a female, right? Ed's on her, see? You know, see, he's a story kind of guy. That's who Ed is. He comes from that era. You want to know what kind of, where Ed models his manhood. You'll go watch these movies made during World War II. You know, these guys that are in uniform, and they're the gals at the canteen with their gams, and you know, that's the dialogue. This is what Ed and millions of Americans emulated during the war, where we were there kicking the shit out of the Nazis and the Japs. You don't like that word, Japs? Too bad. Because this is not about being politically correct. This is about defending Ed from an accusation that I know, that I believe he's innocent of, as I saw him in action. I saw him dialogue Virginia Hanley, who happens to be of the House of Beaumont, and it has one of the most sophisticated royal pedigrees in this state, not this country. This is a person that descends from French royalty. And Virginia's head injured when she was attending college up in Washington. They went on a field trip. Coming back, they got in a terrible accident. They didn't have safety belts or anything. They pulled Virginia out from under one of her dead schoolmates, a young man. And she was in a coma for 28 days. They didn't know whether she was going to come out. And by her side was her sister. All right? This is a stand-up family. This family's been taking care of itself and other people. Her great-great-grandfather, invaded Algiers, tried to restore the Bourbons, to the throne of France, betrayed Napoleon. So this is real history. See, and Ed, that's our bond. That's me and Ed's bond. We both love history. And every time we got together, we talked history. He came from Missouri, and so did my grandfather. Went back and wrote novels about the Missouri Hill folk. Ed was born in his kitchen, wasn't born in a hospital. And I'm going to put the Fadeley genealogy up on my blog. So there's Monty Woolley. That's who Ed reminds me of. I'm a Monty Woolley too. We're people that, we have these stories, and we got big brains, and we know things. Well, guess what? So does Virginia. And they were having this tit for tat. See, blah, blah, see. There's, some narcissism going here, And Virginia's got, she knows how to do this. She's got a lot to brag about. And so does Ed. He served in the Democratic Party. He served as a Superior Court judge. He's got some history here in the Emerald Valley that shouldn't be tainted by this accusation. See, because Virginia bested him. See, as boisterous and blustery as Ed got, there's Virginia. She's been around this, and it, it's a fencing, on God, they're fencing, and he's joking with her, and she's giving it back as good as she's getting. And finally, this went on for 2 hours. Mark's over there reading a book, and I'm just sitting there being entertained, and he says, "Man, you're something. You really, you're something. Ed's throwing in the towel here. You know a lot of stuff. You're pretty good, And he doesn't have laurels like that very often. And there he is, handing it to a person that would be thrown to the in line to the throne of France if they ever brought back their royalty. Now, I can admit that this woman who worked with Ed and made these accusations found Ed to be tedious. I probably have trouble. Working with him every day. He's a story kind of guy. He wants to command the room. There's a sheriff walking down the street. He wants to command the street. Oh, there's the scallywag, ruffian, crazy drunk kids over there. He wants to command them. See, that's old school. So, they had a report that came out yesterday about colleges all across this country that 1 in 5 women that go to college, young women that go to college, have experienced unwanted penetration by a male. And about 7 males have been, I guess, penetrated, or I don't know, they didn't really say who sexually abused them or why they were helpless. But it's epidemic. And when I lived up there, next to the campus for 10 years, in a building where they partied every time the school semester would start after the summer, they'd have these parties. And I was invited to one, and I never went again. Never. What I saw just horrified me. And every time they had a party, I had to shut it out. Because basically what you had, these parties, was these beautiful young girls who had just left their homes for the first time. And they're huddled together. And they're all talking at the same time. And around them, like savages, are these males, trying to get their first sexual intercourse experience, and they're drinking hard, and they're making noises, and they don't know how to dialogue a woman. See, not like Ed, not like me, not like people, our peers. They didn't understand that women like to, have conversations, get to know the man. A lot of them want to become sexually experienced too. But they don't want to be raped. They don't want to be drugged unconscious and raped. They want to meet a nice young man. They'll take him aside. He's a storyteller. He's a story man. Oh, hey, I know this is my dream, and this is what I'm going to do, and how about you? See, the hippies did this all the time. There was a, do the drugs and have an orgy. No, that never happened. It never happened. There's no magic. I was absolutely horrified. I said, oh my God. I said, there's no magic here. These young men are terrified. Why? Why are these women the enemy? God, is it their fathers? Their fathers never told them, how to dialogue women. This is what women like. Well, no, they're not around. See, the women have taken over the families. Everybody says, oh, that's going to have bad consequences. What do you mean it's going to have? It already is. It already has had consequences. And this has been going on for 20 years. In our colleges. I was on Facebook as these young college kids were having a dialogue. They're saying, my God, this guy, this man, raped like 10 women. Did he rape all these women that got raped on the U of O? My God. What is that, 1,000? He raped 1,000? I said, no. That outsider that not going to college, he only raped 2. But the people that raped those women were their classmates. Coming from nice homes, people that had money. Send their young men off to college. And when they got there, the first thing on their mind was sticking their damn fucking penis in a pretty young woman. No, they didn't even care whether she was pretty. These narcissistic pieces of shit, and that's what they are. It's about, somebody said what they are. They got one thing in mind. Sex. Well, that kind of went on when I was young. But not like this. Not like this. This is an epidemic. 1 in 5 women that attend the U of O were given drugs and alcohol that rendered them pretty much helpless to where they could not resist some asshole sticking his penis in her. Now, Mark Gall was the head of the Department of Education. And on this resume, the memorial thing about Ed, it talks about he was into education. Something went wrong. Something didn't get transferred down to the youth. And it's the same thing, when I saw Belle, there she is, this beautiful, bright, and awake young woman, surrounded by these, they can't think, they can't talk, they can't chew gum at the same time, they got nothing to say, and I'd hear them every Saturday night up there at the campus. 2 o'clock, and the bars let out, and the parties are out. You'd hear the lone wolves, literally howling like animals, walking around because, they're drunk out of their mind, and they didn't get laid again, I'm not exaggerating. See, no one's going to do anything because the people at the top, they're protecting themselves. See, they come from a nice little situation. Oh, Mark's an academic, he was the head of the department of education. I enjoy work there, and Ed was the of the Democratic Party, and blah blah blah. See, and Darian, she's the head of the Landmark. See, they all got these solutions. See, for themselves, and they're all feathering their nests. Okay? And if anybody comes along like me that says, no, I'm not a joiner. No, I'm not going to go along with the systematic rape of young women at this beer party, this kegger. I'm not going to go along with it. I'm a loner. See, And this is what these systems can't stand, is a non-joiner. No, I'm not going to join in, pile in on that drunken girl and rape her. I don't go for sloppy seconds. I don't do that. See? This is what the dialogue we're not having. It's because we have these people, these social peers, these social upper class. See, and they're the plague of all civilization, you know, that are above everything. And they don't want this kind of dialogue around them. They want strong, powerful, godly, pure, you know, fascist-like organizations, you know, that are very exclusive. You know, oh, we're very inclusive. Well, no, you're not. If you're, you know, they weed people like me out, and they've done it. Both the Gauls and the Fadeleys did it. They weeded me out. And now they're separating me from some old friends, and they're not going to get away with it.